Alright y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Chef Dan. And today we're going to be making a no-bake raspberry and cream cheesecake. And what you're going to need for that, we're going to start with the crust. You're going to need 200 grams of crushed digestive biscuits, a quarter cup of granulated sugar, and a quarter cup of unsalted melted butter. For our jelly filling, you're going to need a quarter cup of raspberry jam, a quarter cup of ice cold water, 2 tablespoons of gelatin, and a half a pound of fresh raspberries. For the cheesecake part of it, you're going to need 1.5 pounds softened cream cheese, a cup of cold water, a cup of granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons of powdered gelatin, a cup of whipping cream, and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Right, so to the digestive biscuits, you're just going to add your butter as well as the sugar. Make sure you get all of it out. You're going to give that a good mix till it's well combined, just like that. What you want is a nice soft crust that's going to be firmed up once you put it into the refrigerator. And there you go. Now you just want to make sure everything is well mixed together. What you want is that when you hold it in your hand, it actually comes together just like that. Alright, so what I have here is a 10-inch spring foam pan. This is what you're going to need. And I have lined it with some foil and parchment paper. The parchment paper on the inside, the foil on the outside, to add some reinforcement. And you're going to see why you're going to need that. So all you're going to do now is just add all of your biscuit mixture in, and you're just going to press it together at the bottom to get your base. Alright, and you can always use the bottom of a glass to get it in and packed in nicely and evenly. Okay, just like that. And you have your crust. And you're going to set this in the refrigerator for 10 to 20 minutes just so it can firm up. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the jelly filling of our cheesecake. And what you want to do is just simply sprinkle the gelatin into the water. Just like that. And let that bloom for a little while. So you just set that aside. So while that's blooming, to my saucepan, I'm going to add the raspberry jam along with the fresh raspberries, and let's just bring that up to a light simmer. Alright, so our raspberry and our raspberry jam is coming up nicely. My gelatin has bloomed. So what I'm going to do now is just microwave this for about 10 to 15 seconds, let it melt down, and then I'm going to add it to our raspberry mixture. Alright, so I've melted my gelatin. I'm just going to add that to our raspberry mixture. Give that a final cook. Alright, so this looks ready. So now we're just going to turn off the heat. And we're going to set this aside to cool down before we pour it in. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the cheesecake part of our dessert. And what you're going to need is a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1.5 pounds of softened cream cheese, a cup of granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons gelatin, and a cup of cold water. So what you want to do first is make your gelatin, is get your gelatin to bloom. So just pour out your cup of cold water and sprinkle your gelatin on top, just like that. And you're going to set this aside again to bloom while we move on. Alright, so just like that, and we're going to set this aside while we cream our cream cheese. So you're just going to add your cream cheese to your mixer. You want to make sure it's softened so that way you'll be sure not to get any lumps. You're going to attach your whisk attachment. You're just going to start off slow, and you're going to whisk this for 3 to 4 minutes just till it gets air incorporated. All right, So now to the cream cheese, I'm going to add our heavy whipping cream. Get that mixed for a little while, as well as our vanilla extract. Just going to turn up the speed a little, get everything well incorporated before I add the sugar. There we go. Okay, you're just going to let this whip for about 5 minutes. Alright, and remember to always scrape down your sides, make sure that you get everything well incorporated. Has bloom, so what we're going to do, just pop this in the microwave for about 30 seconds to a minute. Just let it get back to its liquid form, and then we're going to add it to the cream cheese mixture. Alright, so this is our gelatin mixture that's out of the microwave. We're just going to pour this in here now, and we're going to give that a mix just till it's well incorporated. There we go. Again, just make sure that the sides are all well scraped down and everything is well combined. Just like that. And there you have it. This is going to be the mixture for your... Alright, and here you have it. The base for your cream. And here you have it, the finished cheesecake batter. All we need to do now is get this into the spring foam pan and into the fridge. Alright, so I just took the base out of the refrigerator so it's nice and set. And you're just going to pour half of the cream cheese mixture in, just like that. And you're going to put this back in the refrigerator to set for about 30 minutes. Okay, so our raspberry jelly mixture has cooled down nicely, and so has our first layer of cheesecake. It has set up nicely as well. So what we're going to do is just simply pour this right over the top. So you're going to pour all of it in. Alright, just going to even that out, get it nicely across, and you're going to set this back into the refrigerator for about 15 minutes before we put our next layer of cheesecake. Alright, so our jelly layer has set, so now we're going to top it off with the final layer of cheesecake. Just going to pour that right over the top, just like that. Make sure you get everything out. I'm going to smoothen it out. Alright, you're going to pop this into the refrigerator for the next 30 minutes, and then we're going to do the final topping. Alright, so now we have come to the final stage. This is just purely decorative. And what you're going to need is 2 cups of ginger ale. You can substitute the ginger ale for soda, Sprite, or any sparkling wine. To that, you're going to add a cup of granulated sugar. And then you're just going to let that fizz down. And then you're going to sprinkle in 2 tablespoons of your powdered gelatin. And again, we're going to let this bloom for a while before we heat it up. And this is going to go on top of the cheesecake with fresh raspberries. So I'll see you in a little while I let this set aside and bloom. Okay, so here we have our gelatin, sugar, and ginger ale mixture. The gelatin has bloomed, and we're just going to pop this in the microwave on 30-second burst for about 1 minute and 30 seconds till everything is dissolved. Alright, so our last layer of cheesecake has set. So now comes the decorative part of it, and what you're going to need is some fresh raspberries and our gelatin and ginger ale mixture. So what you're going to do at this point is just pour a little of your gelatin mixture at the bottom using the back of the spoon. Just let it slide in gently. So you just want a light layer to cover the top, just like that. So So you can just spread it around, make sure that it's covered on top. And then you're going to arrange the raspberries on top of that. Just like that. Alright, so the raspberries are going to set in that thin layer. And then we'll be able to top it off with the rest of our mixture. So I'm just going to arrange these raspberries, sorry. And we'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so now as you've finished arranging all your raspberries, you're just going to pop this in the refrigerator for the next 20 minutes. Just let the bottom layer of jelly firm up before you top it off with the rest. So I'll see you all in 20 minutes. Okay, so then now we're on to the final and last step, where you're just going to pour the remainder of your gelatin mixture on top. You want to just pour it in slowly. Now you don't have to use all, you can just simply pour it till it covers the top of the raspberries. You just want to pour it in gently, make sure everything is covered. And then you're going to set this in the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight for the best results. So I will see you all in 4 hours. All right, so it has been 4 hours and I'm about to unveil our no-bake berries and cream cheesecake. Let's hope this goes well. Had a little spillage, but that's all right. Just take your time. Oh, wow. And there you have it, your raspberry and cream cheesecake.